يا راغبا في كل علم نافع.
ينمو العلم ويتقدم بتقنياته ومجالاته، ومعه نطور أدواتنا في تقديم العلم الشرعي. أكاديمية زاد.
زاد أكاديمية ينبوعها صاف ليروي غلة الظمآن. هذه عقيدتنا الصحيحة فطرة تنفي الشكوك بواضح البرهان. بشرى لنا زاد أكاديمية للعلم كالأزهار في البستان.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Another class in Islamic Creed level 2, and still talking about the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His names and attributes. And in this class, inshallah ta'ala, we'll talk about some of the qawa'id or the principles of the people of Ahl Sunnah when it comes to the names and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we'll continue that inshallah ta'ala also in the next class. But one of these principles is that the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they are tawqifiyya. Tawqifiyya, that means from waqafa, that means you stop. That means it is not to be initiated from our own selves. That means we cannot make up names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It has to be with clear evidences from the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. There's no ijtihad. There's no analogy in it. Or since things, therefore we can name Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala this or that. No, that's not permissible. It's like the same word is used for as-salah, to understand it. Can someone add a rak'ah to Salat al-Dhuhr, for example, and claiming that this is makes me recite more Quran, make more dua? Of course, it's not permissible. Salah is not accepted that way. So that's why as-salah, the ahkam of as-salah, tawqifiyya. You don't add anything to it. So the same thing with the names and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a matter of unseen. So you only follow what's in the Quran and what's in the Sunnah of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. So this is a very clear principle, right? So there's no ijtihad in the names and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And why this is there? Because I'm not sure in English, but sometimes people in Arabic, they would use words, right? That is, sometimes people saying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the engineer of the universe. You cannot say these words, right? Even though you're trying to praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not use that word to describe Himself. Or even with the attributes of Allah, using some of the attributes of Allah to use it as a name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we have to be careful, because the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are the only source for it is the Quran and the authentic Sunnah of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. The second principle, and we'll talk about how that is different in the sifat or the attributes of Allah. The second principle is that all of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are husna. And then we talked about the evidences in the Quran, how, and the hadith of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, that the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are asma'un husna. وَلِلَّهِ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى. Beautiful names. Husna means the best, the most beautiful. So there are the most beautiful names, the perfect names that has the perfect attributes in it, no deficiency or weaknesses to be attributed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's all husna. وَلِلَّهِ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى فَادْعُوهُ بِهَا. This is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described His names in the Quran. قُلِ ادْعُوا اللَّهَ أَوْ ادْعُوا الرَّحْمَنَ أَيَّمَّا تَدْعُوا فَلَهُ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى. We talked about that in the evidences of the names and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So few verses in the Quran talks about this and gives the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala this characteristics of that it's being al-husna. And al-husna meaning that the goodness reached the most perfect state whatsoever. So it's the best of all names, the most exalted names, and as we know that laysa kamithli shay, nothing is the like of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala beyond what we think of how perfect these names and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. So for example, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is al-hayy, is the ever living, right? This is a perfect life. There was no anything before it. He's the ever-living subhanahu wa ta'ala. A person would say, but when we are alive and we return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we go to another life. We live an everlasting life. But the life of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's the one that bestowed this life in you, for you. And He's the ever-living subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there's no adam, there's nothing before this life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the ever-living. The same thing with even like we talked about it when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most just. Some people, when they question the justice of Allah from the evil doing on the face of earth and the killing of children and so on, they would say, where's the justice from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? They don't know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with His names and attributes. Who's the one that created that feel of justice inside of you? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So all of the human beings, if they all get together to have something called adl or justice, it's all creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And therefore Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just, and His justice is beyond what someone can ever imagine. And He's the most just subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nothing is the like of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it's part of understanding the nature of this life. This life is not the everlasting life. This is a test for each and every one to be tested, and everybody should return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The same thing with the mercy of Allah. It's not an attribute of weakness, as some people might think, and therefore they would deny it or alter the meaning of it. Because human beings, if they have mercy towards something, that makes them sometimes weak. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being the most merciful, this is a perfect name of Allah, perfect attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because nothing is the like of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is even when the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, he's talked about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, Allahu arhamu bi'ibadi min hadhi biwaladiha. When he saw a woman and she lost her child and she was terrified as a result of that, and once she found her child, she brings him close to her and she started breastfeeding him. And the Prophet ﷺ said to the companions radiallahu anhum, and he said to them, do you think this woman would throw its child to the fire? And they said, no, of course not, O Prophet of Allah. So the Prophet ﷺ, he said, Allahu arhamu bi'ibadihi min hadhihi biwaladiha. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have more mercy towards His slaves more than this woman towards her offsprings, towards her child. So the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is beyond what a person can ever imagine, and that's why all of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are beautiful names and perfect attributes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A third principle is when it comes to the attributes. We talked about the names, and the names is specific names clearly in the Quran and in the Sunnah of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. But when it comes to the attributes, it's much more spacious than the subject of al-asma or the names. So the attributes are much more spacious, if it's correct to say flexible, but what it means is that when it comes to the attributes, every name has an attribute that it relates to. The actions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refers to the attributes of Allah. So the names of Allah is limited to only what's mentioned as a name. But then you have attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that comes into the state of a verb. وَجَاءَ رَبُّكَ, your Lord came. So al-maji, to come, this is one of the attributes of Allah. And هَلْ يَنظُرُونَ إِلَّا يَأْتِيَهُمُ اللَّهُ فِي ظُلَلٍ مِّنَ الْغَمَامِ, that don't they wait till Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will come to them. So this is an attribute of Allah. فَأَخَذَهُمُ اللَّهُ بِذُنُوبِهِمْ, Allah sees them with the punishment. Al-batsh, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala punishes to withhold the will coming down in the last third of the night. All of these are attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if it's mentioned in the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, we believe in them and we know the meaning of them, and we keep it the way that it's mentioned in the evidences in the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. And it's not permissible, of course, to use it as to derive a name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You cannot derive names of Allah, as we mentioned in the first principle, that the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are tawqifiyya, are only to be taken as names. So the actions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the attributes as mentioned as attributes, is much more spacious, as we said, more than just the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Another principle, and we can end this class with this principle, which is that the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the beautiful names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there's no limit to it when it comes to the number. So no one can comprehend them. So there's no limited number for the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because as mentioned before, some of these names and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kept it in the knowledge of the unseen. No one knows it, not even the closest angel to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nor a prophet or a messenger that is being sent. As the hadith that we talked about it before, the dua where the Prophet ﷺ taught his ummah to say when a person is in state of distress or sadness and grief, in it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the dua that you would invoke Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with every name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala named himself with, or revealed it in his book, or he taught it any of his creation, أو استأثرت به في علم الغيب عندك, or you kept it in the knowledge of the unseen with you. And we talked about that dua before, and it's, as we said, it's important that we memorize it. As the Prophet ﷺ, he said, ينبغي لكل من سمعه أو لمن سمعهن أن يتعلمهن, that it's important, it's incumbent upon everyone that heard this dua that they would learn them. So to learn this principle and these meanings and this the way to invoke Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with his beautiful names and attributes, but it shows that is not limited to a counted numbers. And the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are 99 names. It means there are 99 names in this life. Whoever knows them, he will enter Jannah. Whoever comprehend them, whoever act upon them. So it doesn't mean that this is it, but there are more and far more. Even no one knows except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these are some of the principles, and we'll continue inshallah ta'ala. We talked about 4 principles here that the people of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah are upon when it comes to the belief in the names and attributes of Allah. We'll continue inshallah ta'ala in the next class. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
يا راغبا في كل علم نافع
ينمو العلم ويتقدم بتقنياته ومجالاته، ومعه نطور أدواتنا في تقديم العلم الشرعي. أكاديمية زاد،
زاد أكاديمية ينبوعها صاف ليروي غلة الظمآن. هذه عقيدتنا الصحيحة فطرة تنفي الشكوك بواضح البرهان. بشرى لنا زاد أكاديمية للعلم كالأزهار في البستان.